let's give props to Dakota Ebare for what he did today. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. If you didn't hear the news today, Dakota Ebare he self-reported himself to Bassmaster and was fined $2,500. Now, he posted a video on Facebook and Instagram admitting that he made a simple mistake, a mistake that he didn't realize, and it shows the integrity of this young man to self-report and then also kind of be fined what I think is probably too much.
I feel like it's our job at the top to set a good example and do things right. And so for that, I'm making this video to tell y'all that, I've been fined $2,500 by Bassmaster for breaking the no information rule. I completely inadvertently did that. I completely 100% self-reported that violation.
And he was fined because he somewhat solicited information, but really didn't solicit information. Now, Dakota was very honest and truthful. And in the video, he just comes across as a very humble, respectable, honest young man. And we have to believe him for his word. Dakota's been a professional angler for several years. He finished, I think, in that top 45 this year in Bassmaster Elite's Angler of the Year. I think he's on that somewhat bubble of possibly making the Classic. And before that, he fished the Opens and qualified in 1 year to make it into the Elites, which is unbelievable. Before that, he fished the BPT. He was incredibly successful on the Bass Pro Tour in Major League Fishing. I do believe he finished in the top 5 2 years in a row in Angler of the Year points before joining the Opens to qualify for the Elites. Now again, he was fined $2,500. He had talked to a friend that he was going to stay with for a tournament that's being held in October. Now this October tournament is the biggest tournament of the year. This Ultimate Angler World Championship pays $500,000 to the winner. He was talking to somebody that was his friend that he was going to stay with. Now, while it's under the solicitation rule, it really wasn't. There has to be some give and take in this rule, I believe. I think it's the hardest to enforce. And I think in this case, if we listen and believe everything that Dakota says, and I do believe it, it was just a really crazy mistake. He didn't realize that there was, as he's talking to his friend about staying at his place, he didn't remember that there was going to be another tournament in February. And I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think that, I appreciate and respect and love that he self-reported. And I really don't know if all anglers would do that. That's not a slight against anyone in particular. But I think because Dakota has been very successful on the BPT and here on the Elites, that gives him a little bit more freedom of maybe having a couple extra dollars. Because I'm not sure if an angler is really struggling that they would self-report for a tournament that's being held in October versus a tournament that's being held in February. That is no offense to anyone, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular. But the fishing is going to be drastically different in October than February. It's going to be miserable cold in Guntersville in February. That tournament is going to be so different than what's happening in a few days, in a few weeks. I'm not really sure that a $2,500 fine for someone who is self-reporting themselves is really fair. And I respect that he reported himself. I respect that he didn't get disqualified. I really appreciate that Bassmaster didn't disqualify him for the Guntersville event because that would have went too far. But this no information rule, again, is unbelievably hard to enforce. But I'm not sure there aren't some anglers that would self-report, or they wouldn't gamble, or they wouldn't say, look, they're only going to polygraph 5 or 6 of us. The odds of my number getting called are pretty slim, so I'm going to bank on myself and not worry about it, especially because it's 2 different times of the year. That's what makes what Dakota did right now so absolutely respectable. And you have to give him credit for him being respectful, for him being honest, for his actions and demeanor, and that he respected his fellow competitors to self-report and cost him $2,500. And while I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm not sure that this is someone that I believe should have been fined. I think if you self-report, you hear him out and find out that what he got or the information that he got really wasn't as much or helpful in February, I think that really changes the dynamic of what's going on. Having said that, the anglers wanted this enforced to a T. But now we know that if you self-report, everyone who self-reports should be fined $2,500. And if there's any differences, then that's giving the other person or whomever an advantage in fishing, in this tournament fishing on the Bassmaster Elite Series. And again, I want to say, and I know I pronounced his last name wrong in a video I did probably years ago. Dakota, and I think his mom corrected me in the comments, and I appreciate that. Dakota Ebare, you are absolutely fantastic, dude. I've kept up with you for so many years. I've wanted to do interviews with you. I think you are one of the great anglers, one of the great up-and-coming anglers. And you had my respect months ago. Now you have my mad respect, because I'll be honest, I'm not sure everyone would have done what you did. And to get fined $2,500 and now have to take a polygraph while in Gunnersville too and have that stress, but I don't think you should stress out about it, because if you were honest with us, like I believe you were in the video, you have nothing to worry about. And I really hope that not only you make the Classic, I hope you have continued success on the Elites in everything that you do. And God bless, dude. You are absolutely what the sport needs. You are one of the great ones, so thank you. Thank you for making sure we should hold everyone accountable. Thank you. Thank you for respecting the sport and respecting your fellow competitors by doing what was right. There's going to be lots of people that say, and I say it, everyone makes mistakes. It's how we learn from them and handle them and adapt, and we change and we become better for that mistake. And you're a better person for it. And you're making the sport better too. Special shout out to AZ Angler for telling me about this and also checking in on me today. I really do appreciate you, AZ. You're the man. What do you think? Did you do the right thing? Should the fine be less? Should we really look into this no information rule much better so that anglers aren't fined $2,500 for just talking amongst their friends? There's got to be a line at some place. Where is that line? Comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks to all the new subscribers and members and everyone who's interactive on the channel. I really do appreciate it. It is a weird time, and I can't say thank you enough to each and every one of you who checks in on me all the time. You guys rock. But if you're not a subscriber, you should be. Just click that button. Welcome to the team. Remember, take your kid fishing, tight lines cheers, and get your fish on.